What is going on, guys? Tuesday, October 11th. We have entered the spooky season. Apologize for missing last week. I was out with the Brovid. That's right. I was positive. COVID went through the household last week, but we are all on the mend. We are all safe. We are all healthy. But yeah, apologize for not making last week's show. It did suck. Definitely took me out for a couple of days, but hey, we're back. We're gonna have a great show tonight. We have some great topics to discuss tonight. We're gonna talk a little bit about PayPal. We're gonna talk a little bit about Alan Moore, and we're gonna talk like we always do because we got probably the number one fan in this panel with Comic Man Andy. But we're gonna talk a little bit about that Last of Us TV show that's coming to HBO Max, of course. And then we have that mystery topic from Rhinoverse. But before we get into that, let's bring those panelists on up in here. From Beyond Wednesdays himself, we have Mr. Brian McClay.
What's going on, brother?
What's going on? You tricked us, man. You went from you're like Blue Velvet on us now.
Yeah, bro. Had to turn on those fucking lights, man. Get the ambiance going.
Hell yeah. Speaking of Last of Us and speaking of Comic Man Andy, we got him here as well. Let's bring him in here with Alberto is growing strongo.
What's good? Happy Tuesday, everybody. I missed last week, but good thing you're feeling better, man. It's good to see you.
Yeah, that sucked. I apologize so bad. Had the outline going and everything, and it was like, yep, got COVID.
I don't wish that on anybody, brother.
Yeah. So, and I just gotten double vaxxed. Just gotten boosted, but hey,
maybe that's why it didn't kick your ass as much as it kicked mine when I got
never
it.
know. Never know. But we also have Mr. Rhinoverse himself, Mr. Ryan Hayslip.
Yeah, I got that COVID situation when it first came out. So it's old news to me now. I had the original. I didn't have the new.
Your Koji.
Are these two beefing over
Koji. Hey, by the way, yeah, I agree with you, Ryan. Not a big fan of the new Slipknot album yet.
Man, so apparently they've been getting a lot of comments about it. And
did you hear they named the album wrong
on the
that's a big collectible, dude. I'm gonna be talking about that tomorrow. That shit is collectible as hell, dude.
Yeah, they named the album wrong on the vinyl, I think, on the record.
That's what it was, the vinyl.
And then Corey Taylor came out today and said, just fucking listen to what we put out. And it's funny because you read the commentary, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I love it." It's just like a bunch of people because it just doesn't sound the same, and everyone's just like, "Well,
to me, it was more Stone Sour than Slipknot." But
yeah, and it's
sometimes, like you said, you listen to it a few times, gets a little bit better.
I hope so because I tried a couple times, I couldn't get through it. Lamb of God put a new album out right after that. It was a lot better. So,
I noticed. I mean, I'm not like as or follow music as much as I used to, but you used to be more well aware when there was record stores of what new releases were coming. I'm finding out now when I'm opening up Apple Music and I go to new music, I'm like, oh shit, there's a new 5-figure death. Oh shit, there's a new Slipknot.
Yeah, they don't put as much promotions into it as like they used to, because I guess they feel like if you're a fan of the band that you'll be following them, you'll know it up. But again, that does suck. Like if you wish that there was more publicity around it, especially something like a Slipknot album, because literally I heard grumblings of it coming out, and I heard some of the songs before the album came out, but I didn't know the album was dropping that quick. I didn't even know that the Lamb of God album dropped, and then someone mentioned that, I was like, dang. So,
oh, hey, McClay, do you know why monsters never eat ghosts?
Why?
Because they taste like sheep.
I don't have my drums set up, dang it.
That's a pretty good one. I like that one.
Yeah, one of the things I did during COVID when I was zombified on the couch is I watched like 9 hours of Food Network of carving pumpkins and baking Halloween treats and shit. But yeah, and thanks Double O in the chat. We also got GTK Comics, other people coming in the chat right now. So we've been around comics for a while. We've been buying comics for a while, and people in the chat, people watching this video, people listening to this on the podcast version, I'm sure somehow, some way, one way or another, whether it's comics, toys, if you've purchased something online, you've probably purchased something using PayPal. PayPal may or may not be aware, but there was some big news over the weekend. They have a new user acceptable use policy, right? It's that big long. A lot of times they'll say, "Hey, we've changed our acceptable use policy," or when you sign up for an account, you got to agree to it. No one reads it. They scroll through it over and over and over, and people did read some of it, and they found out that in it, PayPal was gonna, starting November 3rd, reserve the right to fine you $2,500 for misinformation, and how that misinformation was interpreted was totally going to be up to them. That news cycle caught wind. It was going all over Twitter. It was going all over social media. You saw hashtags cancel PayPal. People are saying use Cash App. But needless to say, $2,500. I don't know how they determine that, if it's going to be for businesses or partners. Looking at the article there, it sounded like it could be anyone, but PayPal did not have a good weekend, fellas.
They said they backtracked immediately, so they took it away after they.
Yeah, and there's it talks about how they said, oh, it was never meant to be that way, and in the article it's like, it's not that it meant to be that way. They were just sorry that they got caught.
Yes.
So this is really interesting because PayPal isn't an aspect of social media like Facebook or Instagram or TikTok necessarily, where individual apps or privately owned apps can dictate what people say on them, regardless of freedom of speech and things of that nature. So it's odd that PayPal is going to impose a $2,500 fine for what? Using misinformation in the form of a transaction. Like, you're not there posting your update of what you've got going on for the day, or this news update or that update. They're not a social media platform. So does that mean, are they going to fine people $2,500 for misinformation on other social media platforms that they don't control and have a say over? Like, I know there's a lot of conglomerates that own these things, but in the same fashion, this is a little. I don't understand where they're saying that they're going to fine people $2,500 for it. Like on PayPal, like is it something you do on PayPal, or is it something on another social media website?
Yeah,
I think it's like if you say, like, if Andy, if you sell me a book and you send me friends and family versus a sales transaction.
Well, they actually quote in the article in the bottom that this is done right before election month, or we're going into a lot of elections coming up, and they think that somebody stated in the article that this is a reaction by PayPal to help fight misinformation leading up to elections.
But why would it go into effect like the day before elections? Like, when's election day? Like the 4th or something like that, right? And this would go into effect the November 3rd.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It caught people's eyes. I mean, and it's all over. I mean, Washington Post. If you do PayPal misinformation search, you'll find a whole bunch more information about it. I'm not a financial expert by any means, but I just know PayPal took a huge hit. A lot of people lost a lot of trust in them. Even the former president of PayPal came on and said, WTF, this is some bullshit. What are they doing? Don't agree with this. But what makes it worse with this company and a lot of other companies, not to get too political here, but when it's up to them to decide what the misinformation is, how do you fight against it? Or how do you, you're just going by whatever rules they decide at the time. And then it's one thing to like suspend your account, but if they're going to find you $2,500 for doing it as well.
Took a hefty dive.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're saying PayPal, we were looking it up before, like their annual revenue anyways, I think is splitting it.
Man, it dropped like
down like 50%. But
wow.
Of course, Elon Musk caught on to it. It was a big thing over this weekend for sure.
Was there shit, I just forgot what I was gonna say.
I wonder why.
That happens. That happens.
That happens. It's COVID brain.
It is. It's COVID brain, bro. I had a great point too, and I can't remember what it was.
Is this just the new way and age to impart what they want to happen without like actually like they're going out and saying and doing this? Oh, I'm sorry, we're retracting immediately, but then maybe they're just planting this to see if other people will follow along, or if there's somebody else will do this. Is this something like what did they used to say when they placed stuff into commercials to get us to buy stuff?
Subliminal messaging.
Is this just like subliminal messaging? What's going on?
I don't know. I honestly think, they put it in there and didn't expect people to read it also.
You were talking, I remember what I was going to say. You were talking, Brian, like about how are we going to stop this? And like, you have to just do it. No, you stop it by how you spend your money. And if you use the product, like, that's why everybody's bailing on the product, because they're like, I'm not gonna spend give you the chance to make money off of my money anymore.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of totally different, but you'll see like at least twice a year, right? We're talking about acceptable use policy or rules of behavior. Anyone that works in IT kind of knows some of this stuff. But I always find it funny. You'll see like twice a year on Facebook where people will post this copy and pasted status of, they sit there and say like, Facebook does not have the right to use my pictures or any of my stuff. And I'm like, bro, do you agree to whatever rules of behavior Facebook put on here? You are not their customer. You are their product. So you put copy and paste in whatever status you want means shit. Now, it's not like Facebook is finding you for it, though. But yeah, I mean, I was wondering at first, I was just like, someone's pissed off at PayPal. And then I just started seeing a trend of posts, and then I saw more articles, and I just thought it was nuts, man. And it was crazy. Could you imagine if this has gone into effect? I mean, who would have been the first, or what? How? I don't know. Where do you put it? Is it in the notes? Is it, when you do friends and family and notes, or if it's a product that they don't like that sold? How do they choose what's misinformation? What if you're selling an NFT of a meme, or I don't know?
Maybe, and Ryan had a really good point earlier. Is maybe they're just putting a monetary denomination on if you misuse the friends and family. Now here's a $2,500 fine for not using it correctly and following our use policy or our terms policy. So here's a $2,500 fine, and we're locking your account for 6 months or whatever. So there's that.
Got to be pretty damn steep of a violation for them to fine you $2,500.
Well, think of how many people are running businesses without utilizing PayPal correctly.
But how many are small businesses?
Yeah, that are paying paycheck to paycheck.
I mean, we're in like inflation. Germany right now is on wage strike because they're saying they want a 10% raise because of inflation. I mean, inflation across the global economy is nuts right now. But $2,500. I don't have $2,500 to give you for whatever you deem to be misinformation for me. And I'm good at misinformation. I ain't never right.
Everything I say is misinformation.
Yeah. I just shoot from the hip. Pow! But yeah, I'm curious. I mean, as people come in the chat, it's freaking nuts. Is there anyone that's not really using PayPal anymore? I know a lot of stuff, especially friends and family. I've switched over to Cash App just because it's easier to just send it to them and go to their bank account. I've noticed some places that I used to use PayPal for, they're not even offering it as a payment form anymore.
Yeah,
I do use Apple Pay a lot more often now, straight from my iPhone. But
yep, it's just starting to shut. It's not as, and it never became like the thing with Apple Pay is like you could pay for stuff like at the pump and whatnot, where PayPal never got that to that level, or you could pay for stuff at stores and the pump and whatnot. Like it was more like online it was more of a disruptive technology, like whereas more online based purchases, where Apple pays like it's for your everyday stuff.
Well, yeah, years ago, working IT system administrator, you got to get certifications a lot to keep a job, to hold a job, for privileged access to IT and stuff. Back in the day, a lot of these places you would pay for your CEUs or continuing education units. A lot of times would go through PayPal. We had a guy that refused. He let his certification expire because he refused to use PayPal because he didn't trust it.
I've curbed pretty much like 80% of our PayPal spending or usage simply because PayPal takes too damn long to clear. I mean, the older I get, the less time I want to sit around and wait for somebody else to get done what they said they're going to get done. It's like, if I'm going to pay for something, I want it out of my account and I want to balance my books now. I don't want to wait. PayPal can take up to 72 hours or longer sometimes for it to actually be removed. It might sit pending, but it's like most of us growing up in our age right now, we're not balancing checkbooks. We're balancing digital checkbooks. We're balancing digital accounts, which digital's now. Why am I waiting 3 or 4 days to PayPal to clear my account so I can finish balancing my digital books And it's just a really huge form of frustration in the digital now age when they're dragging behind so far. And Ryan's right. Like PayPal never stepped up to the plate and never got pay at the pump, never got this, never got that. They were just one more safety blanket in case somebody got your information via like how a lot of people would utilize a specific low level, low budget credit card for online purchases in case somebody stole that information. You can't max it out. You can't steal a lot. That's what PayPal used to be for a lot of us that didn't have a credit card a lot of times or didn't have credit. People that didn't have credit would use PayPal as that extra safety net access to their digital banking system if they only had a debit card or if they only had a small electronic card. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, do you have an LLC yet? Did you
Yeah.
do an LLC?
Yep.
McClay, do you do an LLC or no?
No, I was just gonna do what is that called? Where you
Sole proprietor.
sole proprietor? Yeah.
Sole prop.
Well, I mean, I was just saying for like business wise, do you accept PayPal though, right? I don't use it so much for spending as much, but for my website or comics and stuff that I sell, not that I sell a lot, but I don't deny any form of payment coming in, to be honest.
What do you got?
Because if you want to pay PayPal, Google Pay, Apple Pay, but anything besides like an IOU, gladly pay you next Tuesday for a burger today type stuff.
Yeah, see, I'm nowhere near at that level of the LLC. I've pumped the brakes to try to figure things out so that I can get to that level because I don't want to be doing any business spending through PayPal if I don't have to. So I'm trying to figure that out as well.
Because that's what I was also wondering when you're talking about people getting their money. I wonder if there's a difference between the personal accounts and the business accounts. And then when you tie your EIN to it and all that stuff. That's why I'm wondering if this fine was going to be towards business accounts or all accounts. It doesn't really say in the article. I tried to look up some other articles too, but I didn't get that information.
Yeah, it's a little gray in some areas or in a lot of areas.
Yeah, just people weren't happy. Because you know what? The world don't move to the beat of just one stroke.
There you go.
Like, what's good for the goose isn't always good for the gander sometimes.
What might be right for you might not be right for most. Don't you know the song?
If your
It takes
friend
different
jumps off
strokes
the
to rule
bridge,
the
you can
world.
jump off with them. Oh, is that the same thing? I mean, kind of.
But anyway, speaking of grouchy Gus McClay, not that you're grouchy Gus.
Well, Alan Moore definitely is, bro. Alan Moore hates everything and everyone that has ever been.
I still think he's Donald Sutherland's doppelganger.
Dude, he is just angry. He is mad at the world. He is what I'm going to be in 20 years. He's going to be.
That's my goal right there.
Yeah, that is me in 20 years. I'm going to be crying about everything and everyone and acting like I'm better. And I don't know about the magician shit because he definitely thinks he's a magician too. But yeah, Alan Moore came out and said that he hates comic books. He doesn't hate comic books. He hates the comic book industry. And I don't blame him. Comic book industry is full of a bunch of babies. There's a bunch of babies everywhere. And sometimes you got to, if you want to play nice with others, you got to play nice with babies. And he just doesn't want to do it. So he basically gave an interview to The Guardian and talked about his new love of writing prose, which is basically he's been doing that in comics for years. I feel like his comics are so wordy, it's unreal. Like Watchmen is one of the wordiest comics you're ever going to read. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Swamp Thing. It's like wordy prose basically. And hell, I think that some of them are like prose comics. But anyways, he's not too happy about how the comic industry screwed him over, and they kind of did him dirty a couple times. I'm not gonna blame. I'm not gonna say they didn't, but for the most part, he hates everything.
Yeah.
But
it's like, I don't know. I almost feel like, was this just time to let the world know that Alan Moore still thinks this? Because to me, he's kind of been this way for a while now. And it's just like, just popping out to let people know, yeah, fuck y'all still.
Is this even new,
everybody?
Yeah, man, this is nothing new. You're 100% right. This is him just popping out saying, hey, I need a few bucks. Check out my new thing I'm doing with Bloomberry Publishing. So,
I mean, and to me, it's almost somewhat part of his brand to be that way, right? And then it's just like other people, OGs, will go with the grain with him.
But doesn't
because it would be like, yeah, man, and then it's like you can't knock him for the work that he's done though with like the V for
no, it makes
Vendetta
it
and
cooler.
Watchmen.
Like him being like this way, this kind of like mysterious old douchebag. This is, you know who this is? This is
Simon
like Clayton. This is Clayton Crane in 20 years right here. You know, they both think they're magicians and shit, and they're just gonna hate life. Alan Moore's like deals with all that freaky shit too, and he does black magic and stuff. But you know what? That makes the stuff that he did cooler. And trying to get Alan Moore signatures on comic books, especially like Swamp Thing books, and you know, any of the DC stuff he did is very tough. Very tough.
You know, and this is blasphemous, and I'll agree it's blasphemous, but for like the longest time, I used to always mix him and Frank Miller up.
Oh yeah, yeah, because they were both the titans of the industry.
Yeah, you know, it just like I don't say. Well, yeah, I'm gonna say kind of crotchety, but it's kind of like, you know, I used to always mix Dennis Quaid and Mark Harmon up. But
I think it's interesting that he looks the way he does, because he looks like he hates life.
Yeah,
he looks like there's like years of torment has been going through his eyes.
Yeah, I feel like he's like, if there's like a documentary about him, I feel like it'd be like the opening scene would be like him waking up in the morning, and there's just like a bunch of like Funyuns on him. And they kind of drop off of him, and he's just looking around. There's like a glass of milk that's like half curdled. He just drinks it anyway.
Oh yeah.
Like,
he reminds me of the grandfather in Lost Boys. That type of.
I'm afraid to take my hat off right now because, like, no, I'm afraid to take my hat off right now.
Do it.
Like, can I get this to actually work? No, it's only going to put Brian up there for some reason. But dang it,
take it off.
In all seriousness, though, it's like I'm just like one long haircut away from looking like that. I mean, is this seriously why retirement exists? Because I feel like we hear this more and more and more from every avenue across every industry. The world keeps on turning and churning, and some people just kind of get to the point where they just aren't interested in being a part of it anymore. Not just the world in general, but like the industry and the things that come with the industry. Like, I can sit here and tell you right now, what he's saying is probably the exact stuff that I'm going to be saying. Not exact same. I'm going to have the same feeling towards my career 20, 30, 40 years from now. It's all young kids. It's all new things. And I just don't want to be a part of it anymore. And I'm not going to say the same things he's saying, but I can feel that image. I can feel the pain in his face. He's ready to be done.
Well, I mean, I'll sit here and kind of joke about it, but I kind of feel for him as well, because I see the point that he's coming from. Because Clay, you said the same thing. He was one of those pioneers. He did kind of pave the way for a lot of today's comic creator generation. And I would be kind of jaded too when you sit back and watch some of these creators get some of the stuff that they're getting, and be treated the way. And he didn't experience that. So is it fair to think that way? No, because it was just a different time, a different era. But
yeah,
you know, you're naturally going to have you feel some sort of way when you're watching guys come. You probably think they're less talented than you, and they're getting some of the deals and the stuff that they're getting. And he didn't get those, so to say.
So, like, I would like to have known, like, what his aspirations of what he wanted to be at this point in his life when he was younger. Like, when he was in the industry and started doing this, was he like, oh, this is my goal, like, to be like this particular individual, and he got shafted the whole time, so that's where he is now? Or did he just never have that goal, and now he's there, now he is where he's at, and he's like, well, shit, I could have done something differently, and I just didn't, because I shat my whole life away just doing the same. That really, you know, not really shit his whole life away, but like, what was his aspirations to get him to that, to make him like say like be jaded that way?
He feels like
that way.
He feels like the major publishers ruined his work, right? Yeah. So the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen movie, he's really pissed off about that.
They said they caused Sean Connery to retire.
Yeah. There was a lot of crazy shit that happened with Swamp Thing too, right? I think also when that movie and TV show was going on.
When the show came, yeah.
So he
So is
feels
he the creator of Swamp Thing?
he basically gave Swamp Thing his magnum opus. He created John Constantine, all that stuff.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that he wanted those type of deals, right? But naturally, as a growing artist, you kind of want to. He wants to be comfortable. I don't think he's as comfortable as he could be. I'm never saying that he was like trying to do all this stuff with art, because I'm not an Alan Moore biographer by any means, but he doesn't strike me as the person that's about that either. Art is art, and he wanted to do art, but at the same time, he's probably looking back going, man, I would have liked to put a little more change in my pocket with some of it.
But I'm saying like for him to be jaded and be upset with and hate the industry and hate the comic industry, is he just like I said? It would be like there would have to be something that derailed those intentions when he first got started. Like,
yeah, exactly that. He feels like they fucked him. It feels like they, one, didn't pay him probably what he was owed, and two, they messed up his shit, right? Like instead of they used the basic ideas, the framework of his stories, but then fucked it up. Like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the comic is way different than the movie, so it's much darker and it's much darker. And Alan Moore probably felt like, hey, I wrote this the way it was for a reason, and you guys caused it to
babied it up.
Yeah.
And I feel like this isn't something new we've heard either. I feel like I've read stories in years past where he's had not misgivings or uncomfortable feelings about being in the comic book industry. And I vaguely remember reading phrases where he wished he would have stayed in book writing or dabbled more in book writing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that I'm pulling that up from years past of reading and hanging out with you guys, where it's kind of like he dabbled in it, but never really saw it as his true passion or true form.
Yeah. Well, if he wants to write something, he should write Rings of Power.
Huh.
Yeah, that shit's terrible, bro.
Maybe he can get Tolkien to finish. Maybe he can finish writing the books for Tolkien.
I've given up on Rings of Power. House of the Dragon.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you guys watching House of the Dragon?
Yes.
But
I haven't seen the last episode though.
Oh, the last one's the best. And watch it before too many spoilers get out there.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
There no shit. That guy deserves the Emmy for that last episode alone. But
really, the guy who plays the old king?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
But now, McClay, not McClay, Andy, sorry, COVID brain. I'm gonna use COVID brain for the rest of the year. Were you one that said you didn't watch the original Game of Thrones?
No, I did. I watched the original.
Wow. Up to season 16 quit.
Well, we stopped at the first episode of House of Dragon just because I got PS5 brain and kept playing video games for like the last month, so I got to get caught up on some of that.
Yeah, House of Dragon's awesome. So good. But I digress. Speaking of HBO
and PlayStation, holy moly! This article out just recently says The Last of Us HBO star was told to not play the game. And what star is that? Bella Ramsey, actually. This is really interesting. I'm curious. I think this is a really good talking point today because it's a good counter. I think there's going to be a little bit of counter debate here. One of the lead stars, Bella Ramsey, was told not to play the video game. Anyone who even casually plays games likely knows about The Last of Us. She said that she was asked by the producers of the show to not play the game. However, she couldn't resist and watch some gameplay on YouTube. And this is really cool because I want to hear what you guys have to share about this. Typically, when you think something transitioning from comic books into TV, the second you hear somebody didn't read the comic books or somebody didn't read the source material or study the source material, it's instantaneous. Everybody's in agreement. Yeah, this isn't going to go well.
Yeah.
I have a different opinion about that, but I want to hear what you guys have to say about this.
Well, instantly when you first read that, that's a WTF moment because you're like, how the hell are you going to play the character if you don't know the character?
Exactly.
But at the
Yes.
same time, if the directors are good, if the script is good, and you're trying to kind of deviate from the storyline a little bit, you might be able to pull it out. Which I realized we had another Sagu there with Game of Thrones and Bella Ramsey, by the way. But I digress. I still would rather almost her play the game, but I mean, unless you're trying to pull out emotional and reactions from her while you're filming, that she would know ahead of time. But she's gonna read the script ahead of time, isn't she? I mean, shit.
No, yeah,
She
I'm
should.
I'm trying to think. Well, I'm gonna come back. You go ahead and go first, Brian. I want to think of something through.
You guys know my answer. I'm one of the people that feel like the majority of the time that happens, it ruins, especially something that is a big fanboy
Yeah,
thing.
wasn't Love and Thunder that way?
Love and Thunder. They both Wakiti, whatever the guy's name is,
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, him and Chris Hemsworth didn't read any of the Thor stuff. Happens in Star Wars, I feel like, all the time. Like, they just do things that to piss us off, I feel like.
Yeah.
So
Kathleen Kennedy.
My thing is, like, with the comics, there's a lot of data out there, and there's been, usually there's been years and years of like, and books and stuff like that, of like stories, and you kind of get to know the character and the development of the character. And in the show, which is based off of a game, yes, there's a lot of character development, I'm sure, in the game and whatnot, but it's not as deep and not as deep seated as like some of the comic stuff and some of your Star Wars stuff would be. That if someone was to read it, when someone reads the script or whatever, they're going to take it to their own interpretation, unless they base it off something. The game is, if they watch the game or they play the game, then they'll kind of know what to base it off of. But I think there might have been thinking, well, if she doesn't know the character, we could she might have a different read or take the character or whatever at a different viewpoint, and it might be a fresher idea, and maybe we can play off that and just and kind of add the game feeling to it.
So there's a couple of points here that you guys have kind of alluded to. Ryan, you led to something that's very important here in this kind of debate, where I feel like I'm kind of counterpointing from what people would normally feel or react as a WTF moment. Is this is a very young property. The source material is not comic books. The source material is the video game. And Neil Druckmann, who one of the major creators of the video game, plays a massive role in the filming of this show as producer. Whatever credits he's getting, I can't remember. Double O will remember in the chat potentially. Neil Druckmann is there at the driver's seat along with somebody else.
Druckmann.
You know it. I'm a Druckmann after this. Hey, Mike. And so I'm really confident that he's going to help guide and steer, where she's not going to bring a fresh take to this role. I think they want a fresh reaction. I think they want true emotions from Bella Ramsey based on her acting style, and I feel like they want her to read the script and play through this and react accordingly, much like a lot of people did as they played the game as the characters. So they don't want the story going forward spoiled for her, to have her having a reaction other than what they want to see on camera. So this is actually really exciting that they kind of played it out like this and asked her not to play the game, because she's already being exposed to sections of the game and sections of the gameplay with her character just from small nuances even before she was picked. This game is so well known in the community, and everybody out there is seeing clips. But then there was another part where, like, the source material, it's not based on comics. Like, it's not super historied. It's a young franchise.
Do you think, because you see there, it says, after her audition, they asked her if she played the game, and she said no. Do you think if she said yes, they might have picked someone else?
Great question.
Ooh. That is a great
after my audition, have you played it? And I said,
it depends
no,
on how much.
Keep it that way.
Yeah. It depends on how much they thought that was how important they thought that was. And
when did they ask her the question? I wonder, like, did they ask her right after she auditioned, or did they ask her just recently?
Yeah.
This is October 8th.
But they're also, like, the director's taking on like his he's putting his like neck out there, if you will, on the line kind of too, and he has confidence that he would be able to direct through that, because if he told her not to do that, whereas in most other comic book movies or whatever, they're probably asked to look through certain source material or at least read this, whatever. And as fans, you'd expect them to do that. But if the director is doing that, then he's putting his neck on the line, and he's got an idea of where that's going.
Yeah, so it was right
I
after
imagine
her
there's
first
multiple
audition.
directors, right? I don't think.
No, Double O had it. Druckmann is writer and executive producer. I think they are going the multiple director route.
Yeah,
like
I
you're
mean,
saying,
to
for
do that many shows or that, I mean,
it was
that many episodes.
the director
usually
from
have-
Chernobyl's coming over to do this.
That's right.
But right there, it was after her first audition. They asked her if she played the game, and so it was right after her first audition.
I don't think it's gonna break the show. I kind of like everything else. I kind of disagree. I'm like, I don't see how not.
You know that
playing the game will ruin the performance. Put it that way.
That makes you think if they did it right after they saw her in an audition and they asked her, oh man, she must have played the game or something like that. So when they asked her, they're like, no. Maybe they feel like, oh, well, she's more of a natural to exactly what we're wanting, so we don't want her to taint what she already has in her mind.
But
yeah, I don't know. I think her natural acting, her natural responses, if you watch her on Game of Thrones, she's a very fiery spitfire of kind of a person. But hopefully she does bring some of that whimsical nature that Ashley brought in the voiceover. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm still really excited about this, but I was really interested in talking about this because this is the exact opposite of what people want to hear a lot of times is like, hey, don't read the books. And then you get Thor, God of Love and Thunder. And everybody's like, hey, that's what happens when you don't read the source material. I think this is going to be different with her not reading or playing the source material.
that's because you got people around her that created the source material.
Yeah.
It's not like you have a director directing them that didn't read the material either, and it's just like put some Guns N' Roses in there. That should have worked.
Yeah, and this is a horror thriller show kind of survival game. So I'm with Double O about it could be better if the actor didn't know it was going to happen sometimes.
Yeah, and same with speaking of Love and Thunder, what's his name? The writer for Ted Lasso who played Hercules. He had no idea either. He's like, I didn't know who that guy was. Hercules.
Hercules.
But love him on Ted Lasso. Roy can't.
The more news we keep getting dropped about The Last of Us, the more excited I am because we're talking. I think Double O. Correct me if I'm wrong. We're looking at February.
Man,
Yes.
I really want to. I
Wait till
really
the
want to
Super
play
Bowl.
this game still. I've been thinking about playing this game, but I know once I do it, I'm going to be engulfed. And
Dude, any Naughty Dog game's worth playing, especially Last of
I'm
Us.
playing football.
Uncharted.
And it's just like through a season, it's just like, golly, how many just.
Which I want this to do. I mean, fan of the game, fan of the show, but I also want to see this to do really well because not that it's on HBO, but the way you are for Last of Us, I have that fervor for God of War.
We've been talking about video games making that adaptation of video games into comic books and onto the big screen because like
It's not Netflix, man.
God of War was a game. They did a comic book and then possibly going into the screen. I think somebody already optioned it, but this could be the catalyst, much like
Horizon.
Blade was to Marvel movies getting into onto the big screen. This could be that catalyst for us to really start paying a lot much closer attention to the video game market and what it does for.
I'm talking for like more adult games.
Yeah,
because we see the Sonics and we just got the new teaser for Mario, and I don't know why people hating on Chris Pratt, but that video game genre is safe for movies. But I want to see, and I prefer it being streaming. I like the 8 episodes, or it gets you to digest the story more, and just don't make it straight cutscene. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Make it a variation where it's not like watching like the fucking cutscenes the whole damn time.
I think this could be an excellent counterpoint to the monster that is Disney and Netflix streaming media. Uncharted hit the big screen. Maybe this is going to be that jump, that catalyst to move video games, adult-centered, storytelling focused video games to streaming media, and it starts to edge out a big portion of that because there's going to be some yin to there needs to be some yin to the yang. You can't have just MCU, Disney constantly. People are going to get burnt out. Just the same, the more they pump out Star Wars content, there needs to be some sort of other side of that coin.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, what do you got for your topic this week? Well, he's giving us his topic. You need to put solo. Yeah, there you go. You need solo Wookiees coming up there. on the screen.
I'll open the blinds.
So did y'all see the Werewolf? Speaking of hairy face.
I haven't watched it yet. You're talking about Werewolf by Night,
Mm-hmm.
the Halloween special.
Yeah, I just wanted to get y'all's. We haven't touched on any of the shows. They're starting to one's starting to round up, and we talked about She-Hulk when it first came out. Are y'all still watching that?
I didn't watch She-Hulk. I haven't watched one episode of She-Hulk yet.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of She-Hulk, but I did watch the Werewolf by Night and thought it was excellent.
It's fun, huh?
Yeah, man.
It was kind of like a breath of fresh air.
Don't watch Hocus Pocus 2. That shit sucks.
It's what Guardians of the Galaxy was when that came out, right? It catches you off guard. You're like, this is fun. This is cool. This is different.
Is it all black and white?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've heard they filmed it in color because they didn't trust it.
There's some parts that are color, but it's majority black and white. And we won't give any spoilers, or we'll try not to. But it was an interesting story. I thought that the fact that it was more of an aggressive show than what some of your other shows were. They're definitely testing the edges of what they can get away with and what people are, as far as like aggression and like, I guess some violence and whatnot, being that it's a Disney property. But I liked it because it was a kind of like a breath of fresh air of something different and new, and that was like wasn't a comic book movie. It didn't feel like that at all. It felt like an old school like horror movie.
Yeah, it was good, man. That's what they need to do. They need to do more of those type things. Like off,
one-off,
yeah. Well, not even one-off. Like they need those. Dude, have you seen the prices on some of the monster books? They're just flying because of this is good. So like if they start doing the monster series and Werewolf by Night and the whole Blade thing, bring in all those characters, have MI13 searching those guys out,
thing. That was
yeah
cool.
they have like what they're doing. They're doing what DC couldn't do with Justice League Dark.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they're doing.
I still want Justice League Dark.
Yeah, it'd be amazing, dude. Alan Moore characters.
Yeah, with some Dead Man.
Yeah.
So what about the Star Wars one that's out right now? Are you keeping up with that, Andy?
Oh God, no, I don't know. I missed it. Like I said, I've been finishing
Andor or something different.
Andor. We're watching Andor. I thought there was a special that I may have missed.
Andor's boring.
Sarah and I are totally enthralled with Andor because we think that a little spy action, a little thriller kind of, yes, it could be paced better. I agree with that aspect from McClay as he nods. But I like the idea of diving deeper into like the spy side of Cold War kind of Star Wars. Like it really kind of tickles my X-Files fandom from years ago with Mulder and Scully and kind of, but look at all the Easter eggs they've been plopping in on that for everybody that's been watching Andor. It just gets more and more exciting. Anybody that's been watching that's kind of like seeing some Easter eggs that are kind of perking me up.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. So I've caught up on all the shows now. I never finished watching the Captain or the Miss Marvel thing. I never got on, could never finish that one. And it's gonna be interesting to see how I'll say that like with She-Hulk, the cliffhanger that they have on that for the final episode, I like the way they kind of rolled into that. That was cool. Andor, I think that it's definitely kept me. It's intriguing. Like they've been ending them right where I'm like, okay, cool. I'm excited for the next show. So yeah, that's when I kind of get a see if y'all have been catch up on some of that stuff. We don't have to talk about it every week, but kind of bundle it all into like every once in a while. It's kind of nice to chat about.
This is a perfect comment from Solo Wookie. It's Star Wars for deep Star Wars storylines, but the last couple were overdone. Time to get to the point. I think they peppered a little too much deep lore into the last couple, like Solo Wookie saying, but I was such a fan of that, man.
Episode 3 hooked me. Was it episode 3? That's the one like. But then I watched the 4th episode. What episode are they on? Like 6th, 5th?
5th is this Wednesday.
6. Is it 5th?
5th should be this Wednesday.
Been 5.
But
I know there's 5.
Oh yeah, because they dropped 3 at first, right?
You got 3 at first, and
Yeah.
there was been 2 other ones. There might be.
so yeah, episode 3 because it was the last one of the third drop. That I was like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
let's get it. Let's get our Force Klingon.
Did y'all see Beavis and Butthead, by the way?
What?
No, not yet.
There's
Beavis
a
and
new one
Butthead.
out?
I heard Beavis and Butthead was pretty good. I mean, from classic lovers of Beavis and Butthead, they said that it was pretty hilarious.
Was it a movie or a cartoon? Fill us in.
Movie.
They've done both, right? They did a movie.
It's an animated, full animated, brand new content.
Where can I watch this?
Paramount, Paramount Plus.
Ugh, I don't have Paramount.
Paramount Plus, man. You got Champions League soccer on there. Steel team.
You really?
But hey,
you get it now.
of, tomorrow's new comic book day, fellas.
Ooh.
I'm not really getting shit. What are you guys getting? Andy, what are you getting?
You gonna go to me right now?
I'll go because I only got one that I'm picking up, and it's Once and Future number 30.
Ah. The last issue, isn't it?
Ending? Is it not ending? I'm way behind on it. I'm about 2 trade volumes behind, but this was one of my favorite, and I think it's still super underrated. Of course, I could be way off because unless they've like jumped the shark, but Once and Future was definitely one of my favorite Boom series.
Hence this cover. This is the final issue. They are ending it at 30.
Yeah, but if you read the solicit for it, are they though?
Are they ending it?
Says the War of Crowns is at its end, and Bridget and Duncan must face the future of England together. Will their family's legacy finally come to a happy end, or is the final page of the story still yet to be seen? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
There we go.
As if you didn't know.
That's the only one you're getting?
That's the only one I have that I'm definitely picking up tomorrow. I did like that Star Wars Visions, but I figured you're picking that, so I didn't say that.
I forgot to add that to my pull list, but I'll blindly go right down my pull list. And if McClay's in the Star Wars area, High Republic 1 is out with a plethora of variants. This High Republic's back, but they just called it the High Republic again. So this is where I'm a little
Higher Republic.
Well, this is where I'm a little confused on what their overarching vision is for Star Wars: The High Republic, because all they did was call it again Star Wars: The High Republic. There's what's denoting. I mean, besides different covers and a different story on the inside, what's
highest Republic?
Yeah, this is kind of weird. Like it's like you can't triple stamp a double stamp, but they're definitely double stamping a single stamp here. So where are they kind of going with this? I'm a little concerned. I've got the 1 in 50 set aside. I'm hoping that looks really good. The Momoko's not too bad looking.
That's an
We should have chatted about all that crap with that thing.
Yeah, I kind of like it. It's not too bad. I like the color. The Pitbull? What?
The McCone variant looks interesting.
Where's the 1 in 50? That's
right
the McCone's cover price.
This is the 1 in 50, Dershema.
I don't know. This is all the stuff that I pre-ordered before even looking at the covers. Star Wars 28 is out. That's on the reading list. I got Once in Future, like Brian was saying. Year Zero is back.
You see this?
Ooh.
It would have been better if it was yellow, like yellow lightsaber.
This is the Christopher Luke Skywalker green negative wash variant. So probably his site.
So that's the store exclusive, I take it?
Yeah.
Because there's the action figure.
This is the 45th anniversary cover. That's pretty dope. Greg Land.
Nice.
I like the A cover. The A cover looks cool. Just him standing over there with that yellow lightsaber.
Ooh.
That's interesting.
But here's the Year Zero is back. For those of you guys that don't know, AWA Upshot did a kind of interesting zombie apocalypse, just another little entry into that zombie franchise, so to speak.
Ooh.
And now they're back again.
Look at that cover.
I had a lot of fun with that 5-issue series, that first series, and this one I'm definitely going to have fun reading. They kind of
Andrews.
They get out there with the artwork.
That's Diodato. That A cover is awesome.
But you know what's really interesting? Before we move on, really quick, I got one more. I'm going to drag this out, just one more. One that's totally quote unquote flying under radar, McClay, is the Approach #1 from Boom.
Yep.
And I'm take a peek at the variants.
Yeah, it looks. When I saw that, I immediately went, I bet you Andy's gonna buy one of these.
Which one? Ta-da!
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally. For those of you guys that aren't aware, totally.
Airplane.
Yep. Airplane homage from the original 1980 movie. And,
Surely it can't be serious.
Surely.
I'm totally into that cover. I love it. Megan Hutchinson Cates with a nice little homage to the original movie. That's what I've got coming.
Nice.
All the X-Men books are coming out. I'm really looking forward to this right here. This is Judgment Day, the Immortal X-Men Judgment Day, and Nightcrawler has a very big part to play coming up in the Sinister storyline that's coming up next. We're going to be a really good Sinister storyline playing out in X-Men coming soon. But yeah, I'm definitely going to continue just reading all the Judgment Day stuff. I really like it. I like the storyline that's going on. They've got a really cool Thanos storyline coming up, which is interesting that they're going to be doing. So X-Men has been really, really good recently. So I'll be buying all those. But there's 4 books that are on my list that I didn't get, but I'm going to start searching out for as of tonight. Starting with this one. This is interesting. Have any of you guys seen this, The Dwellings?
Mm-mm.
No.
Look at that cover, dude.
It's like the old Casper.
Yeah, isn't that a Casper homage?
Was it
that?
Was it Harvey Comics?
Yep. That cover is amazing. I don't know what it is, but it's awesome. It says, Dwellings disalarmingly cute as hell horror returns with an all-new story called Being Sound Mind, where a mid-century flea market kids comics meet art house horror cinema in a no such thing as ghost story unlike any you've read before.
It reminds me of some like Eric Powell type stuff.
It's beautiful, dude. So I'm gonna have to get this. And then, dude, have you guys seen the Maria Wolf Ghost Rider cover? This is unbelievily beautiful, man.
That looks
another
sick.
Ghost Rider
like a version of that. Golly. Can you imagine a foil of that? Oh.
Yeah. So I have to get some of these.
Wait, look in there. Yeah.
What?
In the flames. You were about to say look in the flames.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can see them all. That's what Maria Wolf is so great about. She's like a old school picture hunter person. So, and then this hack slash Nathan Zerdy variant. Holy moly. That is just beautiful. Gorgeous. I'm such a fan of hack slash. And then finally, this looks awesome.
Is that still Tim Seeley?
Yeah. Yep. This is this as a cover is so great. This is Halloween Party.
Image, right?
Yep. And it's that cover is by Scott Koblish and Hi-Fi Brian Miller. Brian Miller is a great colorist, Hi-Fi colorist, but Scott Koblish is so underrated as a cover artist. He's the guy that did the Spider-Man or the Snake Eyes McFarlane homage, the special edition one that sells for so much. And this cover is beautiful. This jack-o'-lantern cover. I just think that's a great, great cover. So be on the lookout for that. And then also be on the lookout for the blank variant, which could be awesome for sketches. That be all mine.
What you getting, Ron?
Well, the only one I'm still waiting. Someone had talked about some type of comic that had it was about metal or I thought it was on. Man, it was a music-based comic book. It was supposed to come out some time ago, but I haven't seen it yet. But
a lot of bands have books now. Like Evanescence has a book out.
No. It was it was similar to the one about with the drummer,
heavy metal drummer.
Yeah, it was similar to that, but I can't remember but it's not coming out. I haven't been able to find. I don't know if it's out this week or it was something that was talked about recently between us, but I remember it. But Venom's coming out 10, so it's going to be an interesting one. That storyline has definitely started to come back together again, and I guess it just needed time to kind of mature. That's a cool one right there. That cover is pretty badass. I think it's Proposa.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I think that there's a version he did #1. I have like that, and then they have Sleeper on the front. So if they start using Sleeper, all those books are going to start. His #1 will start moving because Sleeper's been around, but they've never really used him in anything. So, but he's been walking around as a cat around this whole thing. So maybe he's going to be now utilized. And then what's the other ones that are back there? Like there was one more cover. Where'd it go? That one right there. What is that last one?
That's Kirkham's exclusive.
Oh, is it an exclusive one?
Yeah.
So I guess there's no. I like the way he did that jaw on Venom on that one.
Did you guys see the Wolverine stuff?
Ooh.
Yeah. Look at this. It's pretty nice. Great character right there.
Who's that, Prio?
Yeah. Anything else, Ryan?
That's it.
Nice.
Were you talking about the Roadie or Frankenrocker?
Roadie? No, that's not. That
was last week, wasn't it? 2 weeks ago. That was the Dark Horse book, wasn't it?
Man, see, and that is. So, did y'all pick that up? Anyone pick that up?
I picked it up. It was good.
Man, so I need to get that. That's what I want. That's what I was been trying to, but I couldn't. They didn't have it in my LCS, so I got to try to find it somewhere.
And check their website too. Check. Sometimes the publisher's website. Only publisher's website I definitely tell you never order from is Archie.
Ooh.
Roadie, yeah, that's when that reminds you of the sound guy. That's coming out soon. I can't wait to see it.
Hell yeah, man. That premieres Halloween. I'm gonna
I'm
go
stoked
see it
on that thing. I can't wait to check that out.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on what kind, especially the Archerm shit.
I don't know what to think about Black Panther and what's going on in it right now, but Tosin's about to get a big, huge bump.
Yeah.
So,
anyway, well, that's our picks for New Comic Book Day. That's just gonna leave us with one more thing. We got McClay.
I've got. I think Dinesh is going to be coming on this Saturday. We were supposed to have him on.
Bad idea, bro. Bad idea.
I know. No, for sure. So he's going to be on Saturday, and I've got also I'm going to be doing just an interview with him where we just kind of hang out and shoot the shit. That should be out. I'm going to spend some time editing it. So, but I plan on recording that soon. And other than that, same old. Modern Comic Mayhem Saturday nights. I got to get back into some sales, man. I went to Jesse James Comics last week I got a new show that I'm planning. It's going to be an hour's worth of content of me walking around his shop, picking items for the second hour, which is me just selling stuff. And it's going to be toys, comics, music memorabilia, sports stuff. The stuff that I found that I was in there last week was so good that I had to say, hey, we're putting this aside to get it graded. Magazines, old magazines, but he's got the craziest amount of toys, Funko Pops, everything you can think of. And I'm just going to spend the first hour kind of getting 10 items, from all the different areas, and then plan on doing a little sale with them. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I should be starting that hopefully next week.
Nice. What about you, Alberto?
Ooh, we are just 2 weeks and a couple of days away from Baltimore Comic-Con. Halloween's just around the corner. I'm really excited for our Halloween fun episode that we're going to be talking about here soon, right?
Yeah.
And then Baltimore's right after that. We're going to be doing a nice little road trip out there, and I'm really looking forward to hanging out with everybody that's going to make it there. Baltimore's been a blast every year, but the only thing better than the Baltimore Comic-Con is all of the massive amounts of fun and good food that happens around there. I mean, so many people from across the country come out to that one. It's one we don't want to miss.
Yeah. Hide your spare change.
What if I wanted a water bottle?
Yeah. They don't. Next year, they move it to the beginning of September, so you might get the dollar water guy out there again.
Yeah.
But what do you got, Ryan?
Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of card opening, packs opening, stuff like that. And now I'm starting to sell a bunch of cards. So if you're a collector of football cards or anything like that, let me know. I got a bunch of rare cards, I guess you'd say, that I pulled recently. Like the zebra cards and stuff like that.
Nice.
Wow.
I got a couple of these zebra cards.
Yeah, those are badass.
I pulled a gold Jamar Chase one of 10.
Wow, bro.
And this is a downtown I pulled while I was watching your show the other day.
That's gorgeous, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna send some of these off to PSA. I'm gonna try card grading for my first time, see how that goes. But I got a lot of inventory that's not Falcon stuff, so I'm ready to move it. So if you're looking for anybody in particular, whether it be Trey Lance or even some of the newer stuff, I have plenty of it to go out. So just let me know.
Oh yeah, bro.
Do you guys ever pre-order stuff and then forget about it, and then the shit shows up and you're like, forgot I ordered that?
Every time.
Yeah.
I got that this week, and I'm glad because I love it. Look what I got in the mail.
Oh shit.
Oh,
bro.
badass.
What?
You got
Yes.
the HasLab Hiss, huh?
Yeah,
What is that?
Megatron Hiss. I pre-ordered this off Amazon, and I was like, what did I get from Amazon? Opened this up, and I was like, holy shit. These things are, I looked on eBay. They're going for about $150 right now.
Oh, nice.
What is that? Is Megatron turns into a G.I. Joe thing?
Wow.
Yeah.
That was
So you
badass.
get the Hiss tank,
That's
Baroness,
awesome.
Megatron. Because I remember I normally pre-order this stuff on Hasbro Pulse, but they like instantly sold out. But I got a pre-order on Amazon, so it came, and then I'm torn because I really kind of want to open this. But then
Hell
I'm like,
yeah, that would be hard for me not to open that.
yeah, I'm like, because I mean, it's so badass. It's
Yeah.
our childhood right here.
I would be. You know, that's the thing that's changing. I've noticed that a lot more people are opening their stuff nowadays. You know, just treating it nice, opening it, and then keeping everything nice and clean and the packaging together. Yeah, man, I would open it too.
I will tell you, I saw it going for like eBay. I saw one rare sold for like 300. Don't check Amazon first. I think Amazon still had some for $89.
I have the original Megatron, the gun.
Yep. So I do. Beardo mentioned it. October 25th. That's going to be our Halloween show. So the topic's going to be a little bit different. Everyone in the chat, BYO, I'll say just drink, bring your own Kool-Aid. Let's have fun with it, man. Let's just talk about some great topics. And friend of the channel, Wanted Comics with the sweet coaster. He gave me, I ordered a copy, but he sent me some extras that we're going to give out on that stream that night. Creep Show, David Mack, Wanted Comics variant. Gorgeous, gorgeous cover. It won't have the glare when we give them away. But yeah, we're going to give those away that night and then just hang out and have fun, man. Let's talk about some good Halloween comic book, toy topics, whatever we want to do. Kind of like we did last Christmas. Dress up. Have a good time.
Dress down.
Dress down. Yep.
Dress all around.
And he can blur us. But with that being said, guys, thanks so much for joining the chat. Thanks for the conversation. Make sure you click that like button. Make sure you guys check out Comic Man Andy and Beyond Wednesdays. And make sure you guys check out Rhinoverse. And with that being said, we will see you guys next week.
Look. They talking like they don't know a king when they see one. See him in person, he take it back like a refund. Ballin' with my brothers, all my playing D1. Daily checking chicken, he gon' spin it watching reruns. Say they real, but they clones of me.